No money, no problems. Good afternoon and welcome back to the West Ham Network, everyone. Hope you are keeping safe and well. As per usual, we're here bringing you some of the West Ham news, and it's maybe not so great this afternoon because reports are suggesting that West Ham do not have a lot of money to spend come the January transfer window. Is it going to be no money, no problems, as they sometimes say with the famous song, the more money you come across, the more problems you see? But who knows? We do have a squad. We haven't utilized it as much. People are questioning whether or not the squad is actually good enough for all of the competitions that we remain in for the season. Now, reports have said that West Ham have no money to spend in the January transfer window due to being on UEFA's FFP watch list. Now, Kieran Maguire, who's a reputable football finance expert, has spoken previously to several sources and obviously goes online and lets people know and understand the finances behind football. But West Ham have also been linked to a whole host of players less than a few weeks away from the winter transfer window. So, what does that mean when it comes to West Ham trying to look at bringing in players? Now, we've got a hectic schedule coming our way. We've got 10 games in about 4.5, 5 weeks. And that's going to take us all the way through to January the 2nd when things are going to get manic in the transfer window. Let's not beat about the bush when it comes to that. Now, many West Ham fans feel, and me included, that we are lacking in some areas, in particular, as this man comes up on the screen in our forward department. Now, we've been linked to several strikers, and there's renewed confidence amongst the fan base that transfers could be coming to West Ham, and we could be doing a little bit more of our due diligence since we've brought Tim Steidten to the club, and alongside Mark Noble, David Sullivan, David Moyes, that they're now working towards a better structure for bringing in the right player. But reports are now claiming that there's no money due to the financial fair play, and that's going to leave many of us disappointed as well. But that doesn't also mean that it's essentially true, because what I don't understand is, and I know there's FFP, but it also does mean that players can head out the door, and that can also release a budget for the club as well. So this is what's going to make it interesting coming into the January window, because we've got a whole host of players, as you can see here, with Pablo Fornals. Will he feature over the coming weeks? And if he doesn't, well, we'll be looking to move him on in the January window. West Ham have got a lot of targets. Apparently, we're looking at the loan market, but some of the players that we're interested in are also potentially going to be involved in AFCON. So that doesn't make financial business sense. If you're looking at a player to bring them in and then you're going to be missing for nearly the whole month of January, it would not make sense for West Ham to look down that world. But we do need to bring players in. We need to also make space for those players to come in. If that means that players like Pablo Fornals head out the door, then so be it. We are targeting players. We do know that. We are looking at the transfer market, but we do have the divine intervention. I think he is definitely a player that we're going to see a lot more minutes coming up for him over the coming weeks. And I think he is definitely showing us what he is capable of doing us. Is it no money, no problems? Do we need to rush into the market to bring in players? Yes, I would love to think we could bring in another striker. But equally, though, if we do, what does that mean for Divine Mabama? Do we need to do it if we think that this could be the answer for West Ham? Is it divine time? Is it the right thing to do to go into the market and look at it? Or are we doing too much reliant on the young player? It's rumors are suggesting that he is potentially, open to the idea of extending his contract at the club. He does look like he is the article. He does look like he's one of the finished articles, or not finished articles, but someone who's definitely capable of making the step up into the West Ham first team. He was very, very good against Burnley. He's been good when he's come on and showed us some of those minutes, and this is definitely the time that he can do it. We all know about Danny Ings. We all know that's not worked for us, but we have to tread carefully over this situation, because it's not about getting exactly what we want. We can't have everything and then expect everything. You know, we're talking about bringing in another striker. What does that do to the likes of Divine Mabama if we do bring in another striker? Listen, if there's a striker available who will pretty much borderline score and guarantee you goals, then it's a no-brainer. But they're few and far between. They are few and far between. And me personally would rather give this guy, this geezer here, more minutes in a West Ham shirt. And if it means we have to move on the likes of Danny Ings, then so be it. Listen, as much as people get pissed off with Antonio, and he's picked up an injury, it doesn't look as bad as we first thought. But if he comes back into the mix, I would rather him be the impact striker for West Ham. I think we've got enough in our tank, enough in our engines to work in other areas. And I would rather us focus within reason on other areas. I'd look at a backup striker if need be. If we need to move Danny Ings on, then so be it. And free up some of those funds to be able to bring in another striker who maybe will run the channels a little bit more. Maybe a youthful striker from abroad who's looking for an opportunity. But for me, it's all about the Divine Mabama occasion. That's why when I'm writing and titling this, is it no money, no problems for West Ham? Do you think it is? I'm not sure. I don't think it's as plain sailing as there's going to be no problems, but I also think we're not in a disarray of crazy issues coming our way. We've got a heavy fixture list, but we can't do anything about it right now with new signings. What we need to do is utilize these players. Let me tell you this right now. If Danny Ings is to leave West Ham, he's not going to want to leave West Ham on the current circumstances that's going to happen. So if he plays, he's going to be fighting for whether he's going to stay at the club and you know, push into the first team and or fight for a new club to look at him and show what he is capable of doing. It's the same for Pablo Fornals. He is going to be fighting for that shirt because there's no point in sitting on the bench and sulking if you're not going to get an opportunity, because then no other team is going to come in and look at you. West Ham are going to want top dollar if these players are going to go out the door to allow us to free up the money. It's the same with Saeed Ben Rama. You know, I can imagine us looking at the links to Saudi Arabia and thinking we can get as much money as we possibly can back for the geezer. Then so be it. We'll go into the market and look what we need to do. But it does look like we need to move players in order to create and raise funds in order to bring in and strengthen the squad. I think there are players there we definitely need to do. Positions we need to look at as well. Is it no money, no problems? Put your comments in the comment section. Join me later on for the Hammers headlines. Short, sharp one for you. Do West Ham have money or not for the January? I believe we will if we sell, and we won't if we don't. Keep it real. Come on, you Irons.